Is this how normal people dance, holding 10 feet off the floor? Is this how guilty people act when they're halfway out the door? Is this what normal people say when they get down on a knee? Baby, I need you to tell me.
Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. I honestly can't believe that I'm even saying those words. I started this podcast just a little over a year ago, so the fact that I can say that I've now gotten to 100 is just crazy to me. I feel blessed that I've been able to talk to so many amazing artists. I really hope that all of you listeners out there have enjoyed this and that you've gotten something out of it, because I know personally I've learned so many lessons from these incredibly talented musicians and artists. They've taught me so much, and I really appreciate all of them for coming on and for all of you for listening. Today's episode is very special. Not only is it 2 hours long, the longest one I've ever done, but it's also my first repeat guest. His newest album, Permanent Rainbows, is out now on all streaming platforms, so you need to go check it out. He's truly an amazing person, just a very talented individual, and he's really helped me when it comes to giving me notes on my own music. So there's a lot of love and respect here. Before we get the episode started, please make sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to give me a follow at Parker Whirling and at On That Note _podcast on Instagram. And on that note, the 100th episode guest is Bobby Rethwish. Everyone, thank you for joining me for the 100th episode celebration with Bobby Rethwish, part 2. First ever repeat guest. The man, Bobby, is back. Thank you for joining me, dude. Bobby is an indie pop singer-songwriter, producer, multi-instrumentalist based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. What am I talking about? Minnesota. Your new album, Permanent Rainbows, is out now. Congratulations, dude. Came out October 22nd, and it's 33 minutes of pure bliss. I'm very blessed to have listened to it during its creation stages, you sending me the demos as they're going on for probably at least 6 months now. So it's really exciting to hear it all from front to back on Spotify or Apple Music, however you want to listen to it. They sound like pop songs being sucked into a black hole. That's how I feel about it. But yeah, man, congratulations. How does it feel to have this beauty in the world now?
It feels good. Also, congrats on 100 episodes.
Thank you.
That's huge. I'm honored to be your 100th guest. And
it was perfect. It worked out perfectly because your album literally came out around when this episode is going to come out.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it feels really good, and I appreciate all your feedback because it was super helpful. But yeah, that is funny. You heard every iteration of it pretty much.
Yeah.
Because to all musicians, it's important to know that Parker gives very good feedback, very thorough. So if you have any questions, just send that shit over to Parker.
Yeah, hit me up. Maybe I should start a business.
Sorry, now you might get just bombarded.
No, I'm totally fine with that. I should start a business where I just give feedback and that's it. Don't put anything out. I'll never do anything. I'll stop this show. I'll just start giving feedback for people.
Yeah.
But the reality is it is so important to have someone that you can send demos back and forth and get really good, honest, positive feedback. Because sometimes, you'll just get the feedback that's oh, good stuff, and that's it. And you're like, all right, thanks. And then you'll get the opposite where maybe they tell you too much, It's a fine line. People who all of a sudden want to insert themselves into your song.
Yeah, big time. Or people, I don't know. Also, yeah, it's good to have somebody who's unbiased, kind of, who's a musician, but not super trying to just protect your feelings. But it also is good to show it to some of your best friends sometimes, because they also don't give a fuck about your feelings in like a different way, where they're
Yeah.
just like, you're gonna be fine, so I can tell you this is not good.
Right. And it's also good to show it to people that maybe aren't even really invested in like the music in general. Like they don't know how to use Logic, or they don't really listen to music the way we would. So they can actually give like the more general public opinion on it. Like my mom will always be like, the vocals need to come louder every time. And I'm like, really? Do they? She's like, yeah, I can't hear your voice. I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess so.
I know.
It is so important to show people who like don't think about it like that.
My mom is she's always like supportive and everything, and likes it when I show her stuff, but she has a big problem with like vocal samples.
Oh, really?
It rubs her as like really just kind of like demonic.
Like the sound effects that like Babuea and stuff like that.
Or just like maybe not as much, because I'm not doing as much like vocal chopping anymore, but when I used to be doing that more, I would show the song to her and she'd be like, I love it, but why is there that voice? It's just it rubs her as like just being not a good thing to have.
Like, are you
Like,
trying to conjure a demon or something?
yeah,
with this
I know.
song?
She's like, why wouldn't you sing it normally?
That's funny. I feel like my parents will be the same way. Like right now I'm making more stuff that actually is up their alley. But when I was doing like Silver Words and stuff like that, I loved doing weird shit, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. That's interesting." And I could just tell like at some points they're like, "What the fuck is he doing? Like, is he okay?"
Yeah, you gotta like take it. You gotta just take it from where they're coming from and know,
Right.
like, I don't know. I know that my parents probably aren't gonna like the screeches and stuff and the real distorted stuff, but that's fine.
Yeah, the white noise stuff. Like, I love
Yeah.
that though. But you gotta make stuff for everyone. I think that's what makes a lot of really good songs and a lot of great albums that at least attract me. It are songs or albums where there's really pretty stuff, and then they can mix like crazy weird shit that you might at first be like, oh, I don't know about all that. And then it grows on you and it kind of becomes part of something bigger than just the song.
Yeah, for sure. Could you say the first half of that again? Because it's getting all stretched.
Just about
stuff.
the idea of how, let me make sure my Wi-Fi is good. Yeah. Just the idea that in songs or albums you can create stuff that's really pretty, and then maybe if you throw something really wonky and out of nowhere and crazy, like it might rub people the wrong way at first, but then I think if you have something in there that brings them back, like those pretty things, or even the weird quirks that throw them off at first and then they come back to it, it grows on them.
Yes, that's my whole idea with everything. Like everything needs to have contrast. Like I don't know. It's like the more pretty that I am making something, also the more like kind of brutal it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I never want anything to just be one or the other. It's kind of like, if it's going in one direction, it needs some of the other half. Like if it's really just kind of like wild, it needs like some beauty to hold on to. But
Yeah.
like, and vice versa. I don't know. That's just the way. I don't know. It's just one of those like real heady beliefs I have about music that is kind of pretentious, but like
No,
it's all we got.
It's a good
beliefs
philosophy.
about-
It reminds me of like songs like Moonface, because it's so pretty throughout the whole thing, and then the last like minute it just starts imploding, like it's like self-destructive.
Yeah, that's my shit.
I noticed, I was listening to it today, I'd never noticed it, but there's this weird like plink thing in for like the first 2/3 of the song that repeats over and over and over, but
Yeah.
it's not really, it's like 3 out of every 4 beats.
Yeah.
And it never like resolves really. I mean, it does at the very end, but it fits so perfectly in there, but the rhythm is so strange and you don't notice it unless you're like really paying attention to it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I can tell you about that. I'm glad you noticed that.
I just noticed it today. I mean, I've been listening to that song for a
Awesome.
year and I just noticed it.
Yeah. So I was this is like last summer, 2 summers ago. Summer 2020. And so I was tripping with my friend and we were just sitting in the backyard and I had just got my OP1.
Right.
And I was working with some of like the drum machines in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I like accidentally I had like 2 layers going. One was just like kick and snare that was like real straight. And then I had like another layer that was like the like beeps and like hi-hats and stuff. But I accidentally made that like 2 beats longer than the other sequence. So it was like looping or like maybe it was like 3, so it was even more offset. But it just kept looping around differently each time, and we just are just tripping asses. Just sat there for like 20 minutes just listening to it like constantly refresh itself.
That's funny.
Yeah, then kind of wrote the other stuff.
So that's how that song started?
Yeah, pretty much. So it's like, yeah, it's like you might not notice it, but it's like constantly, it's rarely the same twice. Those
right.
drums, it's like just, so I don't know. I think it just keeps it fresh the whole time, whether you notice it or not. But
yeah, it's rotating at such a strange like oscillation or whatever the word is. It comes in at the snare and then it comes in like a beat after the snare and then it's right before the vocals or something. It's just very interesting. And I never noticed that until today. And you're right, it keeps it moving. But it's things like that I think really make certain songs and certain albums great, where you can come back to it years later and suddenly you'll notice something about it that you never ever heard. And it like there's always something to discover about it.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I love details like that. And honestly, I don't know if that song would be that great if not for those like shifting drums.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would, because even though you might not notice the difference, I think just your ear would get used to it being the same every measure. And I don't know. But yeah, I just like, the more details, the better, kind of. I'm kind of a more is more type person. So it might be like too much on the ear the first time, but like, I don't know. I just really, if you could just keep coming back to it and it'll get, I mean, that's how I feel about like Peggy's stuff. And
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like, I've probably listened to All My Heroes Are Cornballs like 300 times or something.
It's crazy.
Ridiculous. Like, but I didn't really like it at first. It was just too much. There's like people talking in the background constantly and just like, doors slamming and shit. And you're like, what is this?
Yeah, it's like you can't really even find your footing in songs like his. And I kind of feel that way about some of your songs as well. I think in general, though, your vocals are what keep the listeners safe in a way. And like it's a North Star that they can like grab onto while all this chaos is happening below it. And not every song is like that, but some of them, like Babuea in particular, there's like so much going on in the song, like so many samples. I want to see your Logic session to see like how many tracks you got going on, because there's like a firework thing and a bottle and then like all this crazy shit going on, but you have your vocals to listen to and kind of keep you on track.
Yeah, that is like that is intentional, because like I do think you should have something to like hold on to, and it just makes sense for that to be the vocal. And I don't know, I like to keep the vocals kind of like dry and like straight. Not, I mean, the delivery can be whatever, but on the production side of things, I definitely like to keep it just sounding a little bit raw and not, I don't know. I don't like using auto-tune that much, really, or just like heavily affecting it. Because I think everything's already so like electronic and glitchy as is, that to just like do that to the vocal, it was just would just like take away kind of the thing you can rely on. But I don't know, maybe I'll try other things in the future. So it's also nice to not have any to kind of clear up anything right off the bat about what I am as a singer, where it's like you either like it or you don't, but if you come and see me live, it's not going to be surprising. It's not going to be like he sounds nothing like on the record. Right. It's like
after watching some of your videos you've posted on your Instagram story, it really is like your voice is exactly the same. Like you can tell that there's no difference. Like you're not doing too much to it. You barely even have that many harmonies. Sometimes you do, but it's not like you have a wall of harmonies that are hitting you, that if you do it live and it's just you, it's kind of disappointing. Like that's definitely not the case.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I just like momentary harmonies mostly.
Right.
Just like picking out just like certain words that need another note on them. But like, I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to what we were just saying with contrast about how you have all this really affected music going on below your voice, that if you had a really affected voice, it's just there's no contrast, but you can have that sweetness in your voice while there's all this crazy affected chaos going on underneath it.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say something really pretentious.
Do it.
Okay. Yeah, like kind of the way I was thinking about this album is like, part of the reason the vocal is so like dry. This is what I just should have said up first before I just did that ramble. But like, I wanted it to feel like the voice is like the human being experiencing everything, and it's just like, it's just a regular human being. But then there's like then the production is just like the things. It's like the forces of nature just like acting upon that person. And like the person can't see what's going on. It's just experiencing it. But like as a listener, you can like see these forces at play acting upon. I told you it was super pretentious.
No, I like that.
But I don't know, if you're just thinking about music all day, then you just like have thoughts like that, and they influence how you do it. But like, it's embarrassing.
No, it's not embarrassing. That's funny. I mean, most people will not think of it like that, but it gives you an extra little layer of fun to play around with how you view your own songs and how you structure them even, like if you go into this album or these songs with that thought of, okay, it would be really interesting to try having the vocals feel like the metaphorical person in this situation, and then everything else happening around it. Well, that gives you a nice framework to work within while creating the song. And, there's a limitless amount of options to do things like that with. But if it gives you, the artist, an extra little kick or boundary to use to create something, so what if not everybody thinks of it that way? They're going to interpret everything in their own way anyway. You might as well just have fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like we have, as musicians and like artists and stuff, we have like two main things to pull from, which is that which is like technical ability, like how much how good like your skill set at things, and like how much about what you're doing and stuff, just like technical knowledge. And then just kind of like your like taste, but like more specifically, I think like you're just kind of like dumb pretentious, embarrassing ideas about what art should be like. It's like seen as pretentious and stuff, but I think that's kind of like, I mean, that's the thing that like makes us all different, is we have different ideas about what art should be like, and these just kind of like grand mental statements about it that I think are honestly maybe even more important than like your technical ability. I mean, it's the reason I like all the artists that I like, probably because they're very, very opinionated about what things should be like, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I could be more opinionated on things instead of being kind of like open to a lot. I think if I had more of a, like, I don't know, a really strong opinion on what something should be, then things would be a little more concrete. That's just a personal thing that I feel like that about. But yeah, you're right about the whole taste versus technicality thing. And that's always a battle of what do you want. Like, I've always felt like I've never been that technical about a lot of things. Like, I don't think I'm technically a good guitar player or technically a good drummer or bassist or anything like that. But I feel like I can lean into my taste because I think I have a good concept of what good music is or what it can be or should be or whatever. And I try to really lean into that. And, you know, not everybody has good taste, but they've got great technicality. And there's absolutely value in that, just the way there is, you know, the other thing. And I think it's important for you to lean into what your strengths are so that you can create something good. And if you actually find people who have opposite strengths, they really complement each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, and sometimes one domain needs to like catch up to the other too. Like, yeah. I don't know. There can be like really, really good somebody who's just like incredible at guitar that doesn't have like a lot of creative ideas or anything. But that maybe that's what they want. They just want to be good at guitar. But like, or like your ideas are way ahead of like your execution.
Yeah.
And then you need to like spend time actually learning how to, you know, use a compressor and stuff, that's where I was for a long time. Like, I don't know. When I look at some of my old music, I'm like, there are some good ideas here for sure, but just like the execution is just like not where it needed to be to get this across. But
I think a lot of artists feel that way as they move forward and produce or just, you know, create more art. They look back at their previous stuff, and there's always going to be things about it that you cringe about.
For sure.
I mean, always. You cannot avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe that stops certain people from ever wanting to create in the first place because they use that whole, I'm just a perfectionist and I don't know if I'd ever feel like anything's good enough to put out there. And it's like, guess what? It won't be good enough.
You're probably gonna regret your first release. Like,
so just get it over with, dude. Just get it over with.
You gotta like. I feel like putting out music that you're not proud of, or I mean, let's just say, I mean, I don't think you can really know what you think of your music for sure until it comes out. Yeah. Because it changes your perception of it a little bit. It's different when other people are listening to it. And like, if you don't find out that that's a factor, then you're going to like spend so much time maybe, I don't know, working on the wrong things. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do not like my first album. But it's still on streaming
There's some
services.
Bangers on that though.
Don't. I don't want
lose
anybody.
A fist fight.
Bro,
I hate everybody's boyfriend.
Stop telling people to listen to it.
Dude, everyone needs to go listen to it right now.
No, don't.
Okay, listen to Permanent Rainbow first.
Yeah, okay. If you listen to that first, then maybe you'll forgive me.
Yeah, there you go.
But like I don't know. It's just I don't know. I like going back to it from time to time and listening to it, but only to just, I mean, I'm cringing the whole time, but like it is nice to see like very clearly just like the growth, but like I don't know. The reason I've left it on Spotify and stuff is just cuz like I don't know. I'm just imagining like how when I really like artists, I like it when some of their early stuff is kind of not great because it humanizes them a lot to me. And it's like inspiring. It's like, okay, they made this thing that I really like, but like a few years earlier just made this thing that's kind of whack. And so I just want like, yeah, if anybody like really likes like the stuff that I do like going forward, I think it's cool to like wear your past on your sleeve a little bit and just be like, you can also check out this bad thing I made, like but like I don't know.
But we're also our own worst critic, right? Like we're always gonna think, oh, that's rough. One of the songs I do like the least that I put out is probably my mom's favorite, or was maybe until this new one and the ones coming after. But she always said she loved that one. I'm like, really? Like that's the one? And some people feel the same way.
Yeah.
So like,
that is true.
There's no reason to take that stuff off because it's just, it's a part of you. It's like wishing that bad shit in your life didn't happen to you. You're like, well, if it didn't happen to you, you probably wouldn't be where you are.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's maybe not really up to us to decide what's like the stuff that people are allowed to listen to. I mean, besides deciding what you finish and what you put out, because that is kind of making that decision. But like, once you've made that decision, it's like maybe it's not really up to us what's good or bad. It's just kind of we just make it, and then I don't know, people can decide.
Yeah, it's like having a child. Like once you release them into the world, like they are part of the world now. Like they're more than just your child. Like you have to let it be what it is in the world. And I mean, maybe it's not exactly like having a child. I don't know. I don't have a kid, but it seems something like that to me. I would love to ask a few like questions that I've written down. So far we've just been riffing, which I love.
Yeah. No, I knew that would happen.
Yeah, and I love that. But I do have a couple of things I was really curious about because in an Instagram post you said that you feel like this isn't your first album, but it feels like it. And I remember wanting to, when I posted a story about it, say like your debut album, and then I remembered it's not. But it does feel like it.
Feels that way, yeah.
And I was wondering why it feels like that to you.
That's funny because there's actually this band that did repost it and say like congrats on the debut album.
Wow, that's so funny.
I didn't even correct them.
No, yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. This can be my debut album.
Yeah, why not?
It just feels that way because like when I made the first one, I was just like, I don't know. I was really trying to figure out who I wanted to be as an artist and just trying like a bunch of different things. So that album is just kind of like a bunch of different like style. I mean, there are some commonalities between songs on it, but it doesn't have like too much of an identity. It's kind of like I was just trying to I was like, out of all this music that I love, like what am I supposed to make? Because I love Death Grips and I love the 1975 and I love just like all sorts of shit. So I was like, I can't make all of it, right? So I was just trying to figure out what I need to do, and I didn't figure it out in that album, but I really thought I would, but I didn't. And but now with this album, I don't know. It started with like on New Year's Eve, or not Christmas Eve. That was when I like kind of finished Is There Something I Can Help You Carry? And when I felt amazing about that song, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to make an album now, cuz now I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, like songs kind of like this. And I was like, I think I could do that. And like, so yeah,
I think a month before that, when we did our interview, you were like, I think I'm just going to put out singles, not do an album.
I know. I change my mind all the time about everything. But like it was just like when I made that song, that was kind of like a little revelation for me, where it's like, this feels like really true to me. Like it feels like it's yeah, that's it. It just it felt authentic to me, and like it felt like the type of song that I could offer that is like draws from my influences a lot, but it's like it's kind of its own thing a little bit. And I just felt like I could pursue that more, and it ended up being like surprisingly kind of a cohesive album, which I never thought was possible for me. I thought it would just always be just a grab bag of stuff. So
it's very cohesive. Listening to it today again, the whole thing, like everything, you don't get a chance to change the song, because as soon as one's over, the next one picks up immediately.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. I love when albums are like that, because I don't want to really be given the chance to be like, oh, I want to listen to something else. Mm-hmm. It's like the next one starts and you're like, oh, you're already in it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I just don't see the need for silence. I mean, the live show is like that too. I'm like making sure that I'm hitting the button for the next song like at the very last moment of the previous one, just to like, yeah, there's no, I don't know. It's just I don't need to. I like it being kind of an onslaught too. Just like there's no time to like unpack anything that's happening. It's just like we're on to the next one immediately.
Yeah, it's like one big experience as opposed to these little things. But those little things do add up to something that's bigger than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, that's the goal for sure.
So, do you have any specific lessons that you feel like you learned over the years that you directly put into this album that kind of made it what it is? I mean, we talked about the previous album feeling more of a grab bag of things and not quite as cohesive. So maybe something like that, or were there any other big takeaways that you've gotten over the years of making music that you feel like you really wanted to apply onto Permanent Rainbows?
That's a good question. It's hard to like boil down to big things, because I feel like it's just so many little things adding up, just like so many little experiences and like failed experiments and stuff. But I don't know, I think maybe the biggest thing I had to learn was that I'm allowed to be like the artist. I don't have to, and I can respect that part of myself and not see it as like I'm just like somebody who produces for other people and also makes his own music, but you don't really need to care about that stuff, but like that's kind of how I felt for a while, because I was super insecure. Sorry, got that morning voice. But
I get it.
Yeah, like I said it on Instagram, but yeah, I was just like just kind of insecure about like as a lyricist and as a vocalist, and just kind of as putting my name out there, as like the front of the music. But I don't know. Something changed, and I just kind of came to terms with the fact that that's how it's going to be. I was just kind of like a little just scarred from like how much I regretted that first album. Not regret it, but just how it really wasn't as good as I thought it was when I was making it. And like I was like, fuck, am I just doomed to repeat this cycle forever? But like, so it took me a long time to build up the courage to like make another album. But like, I don't know.
Did it feel like imposter syndrome?
Yeah, for sure. I was like, why? Yeah, I was like, I can just let other people be the like personality behind this, and I can just like,
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think. I also kind of realized that I don't think that's like super sustainable as like a fulfilling creative future for me, because like I don't know. I am not the best at collaborating a lot of the times, and I don't think that that's something I can do forever and be super happy. There's a lot of value in collaboration, but I don't know. I'm also just like real, like I don't know. I'm like we were saying earlier. I'm just I can be really, really opinionated to a fault sometimes, and if I can't have it that way, it's kind of like it just doesn't like. There's something that's not fulfilled in me, and I feel like I can't just rely on like other people just letting me do whatever I want, because why would they? I mean, it's their own shit, but like, and it's not my place. So I just feel like I kind of have to invest in myself a little bit more as my own artist, just to be able to have an avenue for that going forward. And yeah, and still probably collaborate with people, but just like not need to put myself in it so much, because I have a fulfilling avenue for that. So that took a while to learn. I learned that when I was in a band, and then I forgot about it, and then I learned it again. So yeah, maybe we'll just keep learning the same lessons, but not changing.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's always how it goes. You don't exactly learn a lesson once and then never repeat it. Sometimes you totally forget, and a year later, 2 years later, something pops back up, and you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot I have a propensity to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there something with the album cover or the album name that was particularly inspired? Because I love the name Permanent Rainbows, and then the album cover, I'm like, am I seeing something, or there's some graphic in the glitter that's going down?
Yeah. Well, Keegan, shout out to Keegan Burkhardt. He made the artwork, and he's made all the artwork for all my stuff, and he's incredible. But yeah, I mean, I didn't give him a ton of direction, just because I really trust his instincts with that stuff, because I'm not a super visually inclined artistic person. It's like, so I just trust him, and he shoots me some ideas, and I just pick my favorites, and we kind of just narrowed in on that thing throughout the process of like making the single artworks and stuff. And so I don't know, you'd have to ask him about that kind of, but like the because I pretty much just approved it because I love it. But the title, I don't know, it just kind of, I just thought of it one day, and there's no like huge reason. I just kind of liked it a lot, and just decided one day like, oh, that's the name of the album. But I think it's kind of like just this, it made me think about just like anything that's like permanent kind of loses its like value a little bit, and like something beautiful like a rainbow that's supposed to be like brief, like if it lasted forever, it would, how long would it really still be beautiful to you? It would just become kind of like uncanny and like surreal and upsetting. You'd be like, why is that rainbow still fucking there? But like, I don't know. Yeah, in your life you want good things to last forever, and be permanent. But if they would just, it would not be real. It would be fake, and it would be wrong. And
philosophical life lessons from Bobby Rethwish. That is very true. I never really thought about it like that, but you're right. We always grasp for something that's perfect, and then when we get it, or we think we get it, we want it to stick around forever. But if you did get it, I mean, sometimes, you get what you want and it's not even close to what you thought it would be. And then imagine that forever.
You pretty much just said the whole album.
Oh, wow.
You just I feel like out of those sentences you just spoke, there's 4 lyrics from the album in there.
You should just rewrite everything to have those 4 lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, there's does it ever keep you up at night? Once you got it, or where are you gonna go? It just isn't like we thought it would be. Yeah, it's pretty much
that one in particular. Yeah,
it's pretty much
like we thought it would be.
Yeah, it's just all those feelings are kind of what the album is. There's a lot of existential dread and shit, and just these things that I wanted are not good anymore, and just shit, feelings like that. And there's a lot of the word permanent comes up a bunch in the lyrics and the titles and stuff, and I don't know, it just was something I just kind of got interested in and just attached to, and well, but that's funny that you just encapsulated the whole album in a few sentences on accident.
Well, I have technically been listening to this album for 6 months, even though it's only been out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, you know it super well.
We've had many conversations about it and about other things that, I didn't mean to just say it like that, but that does feel like the underlying message. But it's also such a, like you said, existential dread, which is pretty intense. But it is it's a poppy album, right? It's a very poppy album. It just has these undertones of uncertainty and despair at certain times, and the feeling that everything is crumbling. But it is a pop album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's it's fun because I don't know, I just wanted to write pop songs for a long time. Growing up in high school, I just studied just pop songwriting and stuff, and it's nice that now I don't really feel like I need to try to make things poppy, because they just will be, because that's just the way I write songs. So it's the production just can go wherever and it'll still be a pop song, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, if it's a pop song at its core, you can do anything with the production and kind of get away with it more so than other genres, I think, because pop is so, it's just kind of a simplicity, and then if you just surround that, you can surround that with whatever and it's still going to come across as a pop song, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. When it's catchy, it's catchy, and everything else is just how you dress it up, how you present it. If you're a great person, everybody likes you because you're nice and kind and generous and whatever. You can wear whatever clothes you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a shitbag person and you have all the nicest clothes on, people still don't want to be around you, because you're a shitty person.
You're a piece of shit. Yeah, you're a piece of shit in wearing nice clothes.
Yeah, who gives a fuck about that? I don't know where that analogy came from.
I like that analogy.
Do you have a song on this album that you're particularly proud of?
Ooh, everyone has been my favorite at some point.
That's how it goes, right?
Yeah, maybe right now. I mean, when I made it, just isn't like we thought it would be. That was my favorite for a long time. I was like, that's the best one. I don't know how I can top it. But I felt that really strongly. I don't know if I still love the song, but I don't, it's probably not my favorite anymore. I think, I don't know. maybe Sunny. I really like doing that one live because I like beefed it up and extended it and just threw this like industrial part at the end. So that's one of my favorites to play live. So yeah, maybe that's my favorite right now.
It is funny how it changes and evolves. I personally, Babuea will always be probably my favorite. And I almost hate to say it because it was the single, right? It's the first single. But
no, that's why it was the first single.
Yeah.
That's why it's the first song.
It just, I don't know. I love, first of all, to me, it doesn't sound like any other song on the album. It like that super fast, quick paced feeling of like urgency throughout the whole thing. I still remember you sending me that demo. I was in the airport flying back to LA. I was like trying to get the my connection on my phone to work so I could hear it before I got on the plane.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there. I was like, holy shit, dude, this is on a different level. And when that synth comes in at the end, it's like I'm being launched into hyperspeed.
Good. Yeah, I'm so happy that, because it seems like that is the favorite of most people that I've talked to, and no, I'm happy with that because I do think it is a standout, and it's like when I made it, I knew it was like one of the best things I've made. Just like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm all for Babuea being everybody's favorite.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. That song is for sure one of my favorites.
I feel like it's a great opening for the album because it just, like, first of all, it's probably the only one that doesn't immediately start like with the beat. There is a little bit of a build up and then it drops. So it kind of feels like you're being slowly brought into this world, almost like a black hole where at a certain point you can't get out. So it's like once you get to that point, you're screwed. Like you're in it for the whole album.
For sure. Yeah. There's little like things in the album, like little musical things that I was like imagining as like little black holes, and that's one of them. We're just sonically, it's like this like reverby thing, but it's just like it gets real just distorted, and I don't know. Yeah.
And then on the back end, let's pretend this never happened, is a perfect ending, I think. And that title just kind of says it all. Going back to what we were talking about, it's like, let's just fucking forget it, dude. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny it's like a funny name for a last song on the album.
Yeah.
Because it's like, never mind. What? Sorry, I was being weird. I don't know what was up, but it's over now.
Like, no, let's just call it a phase.
Yeah. For sure.
When you were writing that, did you know you wanted it to be the last song? What was the ordering process for you?
Yeah, I mean, I had that title for a long time, and like a couple ideas. I mean, I made most of the album in like 4 months, but there were some like ideas that that were drawn from like earlier that I had, but that I just kind of like built into full things later on. But like, yeah, I had that title for a long time, and like that main like synth melody and stuff, and just other random bits, and I was just kind of like, I kind of like saved it until it was time to make an album, because I was like, I can't just like not have this be the last song on something. Like if it's gonna come out at all, it's got to be the last song on some project, because it's called Let's Forget This Ever Happened. That can't just be in the middle or like a single or something. It wouldn't be the full experience of the song. So
you were already thinking about the concept of it before you had even created the other songs.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like an older idea that I was just like, I'm not gonna like work on this until I'm making an album, because yeah, we're just gonna save it. And so
whoa,
I wasn't like thinking about the album per se, because it could have like I don't know, it could have gone on anything, but I was just like, when I do make an album, this will be the last song.
You just keep it in your back pocket.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, if you're able, could you try to stay in one place in the chair, just because I realize it's squeaking.
Oh, sorry.
It's all
My
good.
bad.
That's no worries. But after listening to this, and then you sent me a demo of a new song like this morning before we're doing this interview, which is pretty awesome, pretty indicative of how this relationship is. Like, check out this demo. But I do love it. It sounds kind of like a darker tone to me than, you know, the songs on the album. Do you see yourself going in a particular direction? I remember we had a conversation maybe a few weeks ago just about how going into 23, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
That you had some ideas and things you wanted to live by going forward. Do you feel like that's going to apply to your music going in the future? Yeah,
I'm gonna try. But I don't know. I'm gonna say some shit, and then it's gonna probably be nothing like what actually it ends up being, you know?
Kind of like how you're like, I'm only gonna put out singles, and then you put out an album.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I'm just trying to get more like I think what I've kind of been thinking is like, I want things to sound less. I already went in the direction of things making things sound less organic, like less real instruments, less guitars and drums and stuff. But now I even want to go like less electronic sounding, like less synths, less like samples and just things that you would associate with electronic music, but not going back to like organic stuff, just like seeing if it can just like exist in this like space that's like not electronic or organic or anywhere in the middle, just kind of like, it just sounds like the way I like talked about it with a friend was just like more like just weather cycles in sound than like music. But I don't know. Once again, very pretentious ideas that are we're gonna try and like execute somehow. So, but yeah, I don't know. That song I made this week is like one of my first real stabs at it, and I think it went pretty well. I think it's like, yeah, just big blocks of sound, more so than like instruments that you can pick out. Is kind of what I'm getting into.
It does sound really good, and I can see kind of where you're going. It's like gradually chipping away at a sculpture. Like you can take one big stab at it, and like it'll make a really big impression, but you still have to keep chipping away at the smaller details until you realize what this thing is. And it might take you like, 100 more songs to really figure out what you want. Sure. And that applies to everyone, that's not just you. Like we all have to go through that process of trying things and just figuring out what works before you really get somewhere. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, just doing a lot of experiments that lead nowhere. It's like, it's a longer way it takes a lot longer than just like plugging in a synth and stuff. 'Cause I'm trying to like, one of these like rules that I made for myself that I've not been following super closely, but is like still in my mind as like a goal that definitely influences some of my decisions, is just like, I'm trying to work mostly with just like things I record with a microphone, like just like feedback, just plugging shit in wrong, and like just like found sounds and stuff, and like not from the internet, not like samples, but like, I don't know, we'll see how closely I follow that stuff. But I'm trying to not like use instruments that much and just see what happens, and hopefully find something really, really unique. So
that is a really cool challenge.
Wish me luck. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's just gonna be awful.
Well, you gotta try to see.
Yeah, we're gonna have to try.
So we have to talk about the album release show that you played
It was
with
so fun.
Johnny Darko, previous On That Note guest. Shout out to Johnny Darko. He's
Shout out Johnny.
How was this experience, and are we getting a Johnny Darko collab soon?
It was an awesome experience. It was so much fun. And yeah, it was my birthday too, so it was just the best.
Yeah, extra fun.
Yeah, cosmically significant that the date we got offered was my birthday. So I was like,
so you didn't even plan to do that?
No, it was the date that the booker shot at us, and I was like, boom, let's take that.
Let's do it.
It's a Tuesday, but that's okay. It's my birthday. It's yeah, and the collab. Yeah, we started something, but then we both got busy with other things, and it just kind of fell off. But we might pick it back up again or try something else.
Pick it back up, dude.
Okay, sweet.
This is me begging you to pick it back up, because that would be such a cool collab.
Yeah, I'd be down. Yeah, we just got distracted with other things, but
yeah, I mean, y'all were preparing for this show. What was that rehearsal routine like?
For me,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I practice alone mostly, just to like get my voice ready and stuff, and just kind of get myself acquainted with the effects and shit. But like, yeah, but then like, but like before the show, I'll rehearse with Sam, the guy I perform with. Shout out Sam Enix, very cool EDM producer.
Yeah.
He'll just jump on board like the rehearsal like night before the show or like a couple nights before. But yeah, it's funny, like I moved and I don't live in a house anymore. I live in a duplex, so I can't rehearse here. But I do have a studio now. But it's in this like building. It's in the basement of like the like old General Mills building. So it's just like it's occupied by like a bunch of people doing random like businesses and stuff. So like I can't like rehearsing for me is like super loud because I got these like 3 big speakers just blasting at me that rumble everything. So it's like I can't go in there like during the day and practice. So like every time that I've rehearsed for that show was just like at like 11 p.m.
Oh wow.
So like it was kind of weird doing that because I used to just practice at like in the afternoon like a normal person, but now it's like I if I want to rehearse I have to do it at like 11 p.m. and
when nobody's
there. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but so that's what the rehearsal process was like.
Interesting. That kind of adds a vibe to the whole thing though.
Yeah, and
it's
just
nocturnal.
Yeah, it was fun. It was kind of romantic, but I mean, also for me, rehearsal is just kind of like going at which the nice thing about being like kind of an electronic performer is like anytime that I want, I can just kind of like open up some projects and just like put something new in the set or like move things around and like add sections, remove sections, do whatever. You know, like I split like a song in half because like the second verse got boring. You know, like I like extend bits with more like industrial parts and stuff, and it's really fun just being able to do that like at 2 a.m. with headphones on and not have to like spend hours like trying to like figure something out with like a group of people. So
yeah, I was about to say it's not so permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you had to do that with a band, like it'd be a nightmare telling everybody like, and you know, you said yourself, you change your mind all the time. Like it would just be hard. And the fact that you don't have to keep anything so tight, you can just move shit around and try things out really easily on your own. So what is your like on stage setup? Because I haven't really seen anything like it. Can you describe it for the people?
Well, I got the idea. I got to give credit to Baths, one of my favorite artists, because I pretty much just like got the whole like the gear is kind of just how he has it set up pretty much, or like more so in his like his early days of performing, where he just has like a controller and Ableton where he's like triggering effects while the song plays. And so I can't pretend like I came up with the idea. I just saw it and I was like, it's such a, like, this seems like the ideal way for me to perform my music. Like, where it's not like it's like just a backing track, because I don't want it to be like karaoke. Like, I was super afraid of that, but I also I can't do this music with a band. So I was like, yeah, this is perfect. Like, the songs will play, but like they're being like kind of like I'm doing these like random, just kind of like improvised destructive things to them. And what I really like about it is I'm not perfect with it, and there's really a lot of risk involved, where it can sound very bad for certain moments on accident. Like, I can really I can fuck it up and you'll hear it and you will know that I fucked up probably. But that's kind of what I think is missing from like electronic performances in general, is that there's no like room for like error or risk. So like, yeah, it can, some really cool things can happen that I don't even expect, because you don't really know what's going to happen when you hit a lot of the buttons. You just kind of got to roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like really cool, unexpected things can happen, but also really terrible things can happen, which is kind of fun. It probably makes me a little less professional than I need to be, but it's a lot of fun. And I perform with my friend Sam that we mentioned, and he pretty much just kind of does more of the same, but like he understands Ableton way better than I do. So he has these like really complicated like effects chains and stuff that he's like adjusting. I don't really even understand what he's doing, but it's like, so I'm doing like brute force things, like dumb shit, like beat repeats and just distorting the whole thing, and make like adding these just like big like flangey washes and shit, just like real, just kind of like monkey brain stuff. And he's doing like all the real like subtleties. Like, he'll just like add these like nice little warbles in the background, and it's like, yeah, so he's like doing the subtle shit that keeps it going while I'm singing, keeps it like moving and stuff, and I'm doing the just like the things where it can really go wrong.
Yeah, but it seems like it'd be a lot of fun for you, because, well, for everyone, but for you especially, because every time you play a song, it's going to be different. Like, you probably have your ideas of what you want to do here and there, but there's so much free range to fuck with something on a whim. And that is what's kind of cool, is if you do it and it doesn't sound that great, well, it's not going to be in there forever, first of all. And people do enjoy hearing the little fuck ups and seeing something that wasn't really supposed to happen. Everybody loves that.
I do, for sure. Yeah.
You just kind of humanizes things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's got to be a risk. Like, there has to be some sort of stakes. And yeah, it does make me a little nervous sometimes before shows. I'm like, oh.
I'm sure, yeah.
But I'm always like, as long as I can get through Babuea without just totally fucking it up, then I'm set. Then I'll have momentum and I'll just be off.
Yeah,
to the
I would
races,
feel like that's the one that would be easiest to fuck up, because there's so much going on already without doing it.
Yeah, for sure. That's like, it's been a hard balance to try and figure out, and I still don't have it totally figured out, but it's like sometimes there's like so much going on that it feels like it's like, what if anything that I do is just overkill? But it's like, I don't know. We're figuring it out. We figure it out
gradually chipping away.
For sure. Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's going to evolve too. Yeah.
So speaking of works in progress, well, I guess it's probably done now, but it's not technically out or performed, but you are working on scoring a dance show, which is really interesting and cool. So is that officially complete on your end?
Yeah, it is. I finished the music in August, I think. So yeah, immediately once I finished Permanent Rainbows, I had like a couple days where I was like, cool, we're done. And then like immediately I had to get started on a whole nother album of stuff, which was, it got a little grueling because it's so much and it's instrumental, but like I'm so happy with how it turned out. And but yeah, Crash Dance Productions, they're super cool, Minneapolis dance company, and I don't know, I've been a big fan of them for a few years now because I got invited to one of their like shows, and I went and I just had my mind. I didn't think I was gonna like love it as much as I did because I've like not been to a lot of dance stuff, or I've been to some dance stuff, but like none of it ever hit me the way that these people did, where it was just like, it was so dark and intense and like creative and very psychedelic, and they were just like, the music that they were choosing would go from Steve Reich, just like throbbing, just like pulsating classical stuff, to like Tipper. They threw in some Tipper, which is just this crazy EDM stuff, and I was just like, my like mouth was open the whole time. I was like, I can't believe this is the balls on these people. It's just it was so ambitious and awesome and intense. I was like, I am such a big fan, and we've just kind of been talking for a couple years about just like, what if we did something? And then we tried a few times, and then like COVID happened, and then blah 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 blah. But like, yeah, it finally happened, and it's happening on, I don't know when this is gonna come out. Maybe it will have already happened, but yeah, it's
because I think this episode will be out before.
Okay, cool. It's on November 12th and 13th.
Okay, yeah.
And then it's gonna happen again in March. So it's,
wow.
Yeah, and it's gonna have a longer run then. So there'll be, it's not like there'll be more opportunities to see it. But yeah, it's gonna be very cool. I haven't seen any of it. Like I've made I'm pretty much made it in a vacuum. They pretty much let me do whatever I wanted to do, and I had no idea like what they were doing. Like I haven't been to any rehearsals. I think I'm going to some this weekend though, so I will see bits of it. So that's exciting.
So cool.
I know, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a really I just grew a lot in the process. Like especially,
I'm sure.
I've never made like instrumental music really. I mean, like not with I've made like instrumental ideas and stuff, but I'm always like, I'm going to put vocals on this later. But like actually doing like 40 minutes of instrumental music, I was like, it was such a challenge to try and like keep it engaging the whole time, because I'm already so, as you can tell, I'm already so ADHD as is with music and production, where I'm like, something needs to be happening at all times. Like nothing can be the same for more than like 3 beats. But like but like you can like kind of get away with a bit less when you have vocals, but with instrumental, I was like, fuck, we gotta have this going, just have so much happening.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so did you learn to reel it back a little bit?
No. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I did not learn a thing about simplicity in the process. I've heard about simplicity, but still don't know how to do it. But no, I just learned how to make things crazier. So
okay, well, that's good too.
So yeah, it has some of the wildest shit I've ever made in it, and I think I'm going to put it out. I think I'm going to put it out as an album on Spotify.
Yeah, you should.
I do really I think the music stands up on its own. I just like was hesitant because I'm like, I don't want to be associated with instrumental music, because I don't know. I like singing and I like songs, and so it's probably the only instrumental album I think I'll make, at least probably for a long time. But like,
yeah. Well, it's cool that it's something completely different, and it's not even like really, it's not like something you probably would have done if they didn't want to work on it as a piece, like a dance piece.
For sure. Yeah. It was a huge learning process, and I'm super, super glad it happened, and
Yeah, I think
very
it's really
excited.
cool. Do you think you'll be able to make it to the JPEG Mafia show?
The
After?
same night. Yeah. I think I will be. I think cuz I was unsure for a while. But like I feel like cuz I think the dance show is happening somewhat early, and it's a one act show. It's not super long. So like I think I'll even have time to just like, hang around and talk to people for like
Cool.
45 minutes or however long, and then get over to First Ave and get in that fucking pit.
Dude, you got to get
Get
in
in the
that pit
fucking
after
pit.
going to the dance recital.
I know.
What a contrast right there.
It's going to be what a night. Yeah.
Dude, I am stoked for you. Please take so many videos. Well, don't take so many because you need to be in the moment. But take a
yeah,
couple.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's coming to Atlanta, right?
He already came, bro.
Oh.
I know. I wanted to see him. Like 3 out of, I don't know, 25 shows he's playing were sold out, and Atlanta was one of them. And I looked it up. I could have got a ticket for like $100, but I was just like not trying to drop that money. I did see Injury Reserve at the same place because I was like I would have seen them anyway, but I was thinking like I want to see JPEG Mafia, so I went to the website, saw that he was sold out, and was like, oh shit. But then right below it or above it, whatever, it said Injury Reserve is coming. I'm like, all right, I can work with that.
Yeah,
and,
that seemed sick as hell. I mean,
it was, yeah, and it
I would
seemed
love
like
to see
something
them.
they had like a similar set of like what you would do. They had a controller and it was just Richie rapping the whole time, but it was crazy. They played the whole album front to back, and then played some of their like big hits, which I think was really smart.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, I would love to see like some videos of like what they're doing, because I feel like I could take some notes from whatever manipulations they're doing.
Yeah, because he had a big like 32 button push controller or whatever. I don't know. So I don't know what he's doing, but he really manipulated the stuff in a very what's the word, like modest way. Like he wasn't going too crazy with it, but he was at times he would go like insane, but it would be like almost like the transitions between songs, and then the song would come on and he would like do little things like maybe flange up the high end or something like that when you weren't expecting it, so it kind of kept it alive instead of it just being like you said, like karaoke.
Yeah. Yeah, no
I hope
karaoke.
they put out a live video of it, of what they're doing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So
cool. Well, Bobby Rethwish, that's taken us over to the last 5.
Wait. Okay.
Wait. Okay,
it's your 100th episode, so I have some questions for you.
Oh no, you prepared some questions for me?
I did. Sorry, this is going so long, but I gotta ask you these questions.
No, we talked about this earlier. We're like, this might go 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm so down. But all right, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm so ready. Nobody asks me questions on this show.
All right, I'm gonna start with a big one. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Parker Whirling, are you happy?
Am I happy? I'm happy, but I'm not content.
Oh shit.
That's a good answer, right?
Tell me more.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be like, nice. Next question.
You're in the hot seat, bro.
Oh man. Am I happy? Yeah, I think I'm generally happy with my life. I think there's a lot I could be doing better. I think I could absolutely apply myself to a lot more things. Not a lot more things, but a lot more to the things I love, like this podcast and music in general. I think I give myself a lot of breaks when I probably don't need them. But I do think I'm on the right track, and maybe at times I'm hard on myself and I try to reel it back in. But I think when it comes to stuff like this podcast, I don't know. I'm really jealous of the people who have one thing that they've like dedicated themselves to, almost to the point of like shutting out a lot of people. Like I don't want to shut out people, but I there's something very romantic about that dedication. Like, have you seen Whiplash? Yeah, like that kind of dedication and energy I think is really enticing to me, and I don't feel like I have that. I just want a little bit of it. I don't want I don't want this really intense drive to the point where you're like, ruining relationships and like ruining your health and whatever. Like, I think it's important, obviously, to keep all of that together.
Yeah.
But I do want to apply myself a little bit more and maybe prioritize things a little bit better, because I love music so much and creating it, but I worry about the idea of like trying to sustain myself doing that, because I think, not that I don't trust my abilities, but I don't exactly have a lot of faith in the world receiving it the way I would probably want them to, because you go through those disappointments of like releasing something and it doesn't do as well as you hope, and then on top of that, I've interviewed now 100-something people on this show, and some people, like, they release their first song and like off the bat they've got like thousands of streams. I'm like, how did that happen? And I still don't know. I felt like having this podcast I would learn, and I still don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. Like, yeah,
like your song,
it's perplexing.
Moonface all of a sudden got like 25,000 plays, and I was like, what did you do? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, it happened.
Great.
That happened like 8 months after I put it out.
Yeah, that's so strange.
It's I don't know, man. I feel everything you just said 100%. I mean, yeah, I think it just seems kind of like the path that we're taking is there's gonna be a lot of disappointment for a long time, but I feel like just hoping that there's something on the other end of it is kind of all you can do, and just kind of working on yourself and shit, and just moving forward slowly but steady. That's kind of all.
But steady.
Yeah, because I mean, my shit doesn't get crazy numbers or anything, but like I don't know. All that I really care about is that, or like, it's that I'm doing better each time than the last. Whether, I mean, and like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is really what it comes down to. And I've had that conversation a lot recently. And it is important to accept those little wins when they happen, and not get too down on yourself when you start comparing yourself to others and how they're doing, because it's not your journey to be there. And if you did see like a crazy amount of success early on, maybe it wouldn't give you the drive to keep getting better.
For sure. Yeah, I think I don't think it's something to be envied necessarily.
Right.
Like, I mean, I think it's probably kind of a curse to just like blow up on your first release, because you probably haven't figured out who you are as like a artistic person fully, and then you're gonna have to figure that out in the public eye, like in front of everybody. And that I think like one of the benefits of just having like a very gradual like career is that like you have like the mental space to kind of like figure out what you actually want to do, instead of just like do one thing and then everybody likes it and then you're like, oh okay, I gotta keep doing that, I guess. Because
now you've experienced how great it is that it's scary. It's scary to like disappoint people.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think, one more thing before we move on, like I've learned that I really think applying myself to this podcast more would be really helpful, because I don't necessarily trust in my ability to make music a long time career only, and I would love for it to be something that I'm doing as for fun. And like, I mean, I say a hobby, I don't want to treat it like a hobby, but I do want it to be not the only thing that would like sustain me, because that would be a lot of pressure. But
Yeah.
I do believe in my ability to be able to have conversations with musicians for the rest of time. And that, I think, would be the more the more clear thing to focus on all the time, because I love it so much. And I think eventually, even though now, I'm like, my podcast doesn't get crazy numbers, but it's, people do podcasts for years before anybody starts noticing them. So I feel like I'm confident in my ability to continue to get better at having these conversations. And there's certainly no shortage of artists out there who want
Definitely.
to talk about themselves and talk about music and things like
Yeah.
that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's
you're really good at
locked-in
it.
answer. Thank you.
You're very good at it.
I appreciate it. I do love doing it.
Good. All right. Here's another question.
This is so crazy.
I hope you're receptive to this.
Yeah.
So I read your bio on IMDb,
Oh my God.
and I was curious if anybody ever approaches you on the street and calls you Asthma Boy.
No. That's funny. You did the deep dive.
Oh yeah.
One person ever did, like, for real, and it was so strange. Just the only person ever in the wild and like in the public that recognized me, and the only it was because of that. It was because of Walking Dead, but also she had met me, I think, or sort of just knew me from these Walking Dead conventions I used to go to. I went to like 4, I think, when I was like a senior in high school. And like you'd go there and fans would come up, and like pretty much nobody knew me. Like 30% actually knew my character, which was insane. The fact that that amount of people actually did. But still, there was a lot of people who had no idea who I was, but they wanted to ask me who I was in the show. And then they'd be like, oh yeah, I do remember that. But this one lady, I was at Michael's, I don't know why, the craft shop, the arts and crafts store.
Yeah.
And she was like, Parker? I was like, what? Hi. She was like, are you Parker Whirling? I was like, is this happening right now? I don't know if she called me Asthma Boy, but she knew me as that, right?
Okay, yeah.
And that was it. I mean, she was just like, oh, I just wanted to say hi. Like, huge fan of your work. I'm just kidding. She didn't say that. But yeah, so she recognized me. It's the only time ever.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I was just seeing, I wanted to know if like something that you deal with on a daily basis is just being at the grocery store and somebody being like,
totally.
Yo, Asthma Boy.
That's it. Yep. It's just a daily grind,
Yeah. Okay, hold on one sec. I'm gonna pause this for a second and give myself more record space, because otherwise it's gonna stop.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. You might just.
That's fine. Yeah, I hope my computer doesn't hate me for doing this so long. All right, cool. We're good.
Cool. All right. So, how has your podcast influenced your own music making process? Like, do you do things differently because of like what people say and just like the change in perspective and shit?
That's a good question. That's one I would probably ask someone on there when I interview them. Yeah, it definitely has. I think in a lot of smaller ways than one big one, because every time I talk to somebody, I learn a little bit, at least. I mean, I usually learn a lot, but I learn a little bit at least from everyone I talk to, whether it's subconscious or not. I think the one thing I can really point to that has really influenced me a lot is the idea of recording. A couple ideas. Okay. One of them, and I'm going to give him the shout out. I almost feel bad doing it on this show, on this episode, because you two are like the most Shout
Rubber
out
band gun.
Rubber Band Gun, Kevin Vasco.
Hell yeah.
I hate to give him a point on your episode, but
No,
it's okay.
we're not enemies.
I know.
Friend of Parker is a friend of mine.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he, and also like it's different because I literally recorded with him, so I learned a lot of lessons just doing that. But yeah, he kind of got me out of my comfort zone by writing songs completely with just guitar and then recording, where everything beforehand was always starting with like a loop, like a drum loop, and then working from there. And now I never want to do that. Like, I would love to get back into it and do some crazier shit, but like it's so hard for me to want to do that now because it's just a little daunting. Like, I feel like I can't change anything once I get to a certain point. Whereas if I'm just writing a song on guitar, it's not really permanent. And yeah, it's just like I can change it easily. So that end of writing has really like affected me over the last year since I started this. And also that same approach to recording where I'm not constantly like punching in certain vocal takes. Like when we did the EP at his place, the vocals, I mean, everything we pretty much did from start to the end of the song. We didn't, as opposed to like putting a loop on Logic and then trying your best to get, that best take, and you do like 25 things and then you just pick the best, you like chop it up and you pick the best. Like, that's a lot of time consuming, and it just felt more authentic to, from the start, you do the whole song on drums, you do the whole song on bass, and if you really like fuck up, you can punch in somewhere, but for the most part, keeping the takes like one take, because it has so much more authenticity. There's not a lot of repetition. Like, you're not just, copy and pasting, right? Which I used to do all the time. So I really like the way it sounds when I don't do that. And I want to continue to keep working on that. And also working with other people, because I never did that either. And that after doing that EP with him, I was like, wow, it's so much, very helpful to work with people who know a lot more than me. And hopefully I'll be doing that again in the next month with this other guy I interviewed. But yeah, those are the big three, I'd say.
Awesome.
I've learned.
Very cool. Good shit. All right. So what made you decide to release music under your own name instead of a pseudonym?
So I did have a pseudonym early on.
I tried to listen to it last night, but you took it down.
I didn't mean to either.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I can actually send you, because it's on SoundCloud still.
Oh, cool.
But it's not on Spotify, and I did not mean to take it down. On TuneCore, the website that I use to distribute the music, my credit card on file was like wrong, like it expired, right? So when I got it, and I didn't know, like, because the emails were getting sent to like this focal feature at gmail.com email I made for some reason. So I never got it, and I never used that email. And then all of a sudden it wasn't there anymore, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I checked TuneCore, it said it got taken down, and you can't just re-upload it, which is crazy. I mean, you could, but then you gotta like find all those masters again, and I think I have them somewhere, but I haven't really checked, and I'm like, that's whatever. Like, it's still on SoundCloud, and nobody's really paying attention to that stuff. But yeah, I'll send you the SoundCloud link. I would be curious to hear what you think of my first stab at releasing music ever.
I'm very interested.
Yeah, it's I'm just curious what you'll think. But I went crazy with auto-tune because I was not confident in my voice. I'll just let you know that now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what I was doing on my first one also.
It's hard to avoid that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to do my name because, one, being an actor, I was like, I just wanted to solidify everything under one quote unquote brand, if you will. That sounds douchey, but that was like, it's true. It's like, it's a lot easier for people to look up Parker Whirling if they know me in person on Spotify than try to like remember what name I picked, And I also just liked the idea of I never thought my name would conjure up an image to people, right? That's why I wanted to use a pseudonym at first. Focal feature, I was like, oh, people can have like opinions on what that means to them just by hearing it without the music. And I was like, Parker Whirling, like, what are people gonna care, right? But, you know, how many artists do you love that they just use their name and like
Right.
it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
affect you because you're calling them by their name. So I just
Yeah, for
decided to
sure.
go that way.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, for me, it's kind of like because it's kind of just like the same reason I don't have any tattoos. I'm running the default body.
Default
But but it's not because I'm opposed to tattoos or anything. It's just like there's nothing that's jumped out at me that I'm like I need that, and I'm like, and I know that I'll like want it forever.
Right.
It's like the same with like a moniker or like a pseudonym. I feel like is like I would just be so. Anytime I've had an idea in the past, I'm just been like, I could totally see myself hating it in like 2 years, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's not like my name is that cool. It's like, and it's not like super indicative of what the music sounds like, but it's like, I might like, yeah, it's not that cool, but like, I'll never hate it at least. Cause I've already been used to my name for like 23 years. So it's like, I don't think I'm going to start hating my own name. It's just not going to be that cool, but that's fine.
That's a great
trade-off.
way to think about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's already familiar.
Yeah, but
You got any more for me?
I think I have one more.
Let's do it.
Okay, yeah. So this is a lofty one.
Oh, okay.
And I know it can be embarrassing to speak your like what goals you have and shit, because like sometimes they're like lofty and
Yeah.
but I get it, and like, but you just say whatever you want to say. But what is your like ideal future as a creative person look like? Like, what are you doing?
Man, yeah, that's a great question. I think I probably should spend more time really thinking about it. Like thinking about where do I want to be in 5 years, right? But that just seems so daunting. But I think ideally, I would love to be making a living acting, because what's interesting is for most people that's like a long shot, right? But you can absolutely make a living as an actor and nobody know who you are. Because it can pay really well if you get on certain projects, even if you just say one line or whatever. And being able to support myself doing that would be amazing, so that I can continue to work on the podcast and work on my own music as like what I really love to do, right? But I would say I'd love for this podcast to be at a point where a lot of people are enjoying it and listening to it and getting a lot of information and helpful tips out of it, as well as being able to listen to their favorite artists talk about stuff that's more than just, these 3-minute interviews online where they just ask them like, oh, so like, where'd your name came from? And like, what got you into music? And it's like, okay, can we ask some stuff that's a little bit more interesting?
What do you think of France? And they're like,
France?
I got here this afternoon, so I don't know.
I like croissants,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that stuff. I'm like, I wanted to watch interviews like what I do for artists that I really like, and not everyone does that. And it's really lame when you see, like, you're excited to watch this interview by an artist you really love, and the interview is just giving them nothing, right? And it's just like super basic, and they don't follow up with questions about what they just talked about, and it feels so stilted and unnatural. Not to mention they're probably interviewing these people because their company just told them to, and they don't really listen to their music. You know,
No.
I want it to feel authentic and like passionate because I do love the person's music.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
interviewing bigger artists would be huge. I love interviewing
Yeah.
smaller artists. Really, I just want it to be like interviewing everyone I think is great, no matter how big or small they are. But it would be
For
nice
sure.
to get to that point where I'm like interviewing huge people and like learning more and more about
Yeah.
what makes somebody get to the point that they're at.
You'll get there for sure. You know,
I think so.
you
I
just
think
keep
so.
if you just keep interviewing people, like it's just gonna like spread. It's gonna spread
Yeah.
around.
It's just a numbers thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I
Well, you're at 100.
at 100, man.
You're
We
at
hit triple
100.
digits. Hit triple digits today.
Yeah,
It's
you're
crazy.
Doing great.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you taking the time to ask these questions too, because I've always loved when people ask me what I think when I ask them something. I'm like, oh yeah, like I forgot I have, I have opinions on these things.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's your 100th episode. I wasn't not gonna ask you some shit.
No, man, that's awesome. I love that. So now, if that's your last one,
Yeah. Okay.
okay, it's time for our last 5 of the 100th episode.
Cool.
So some of these I feel like you maybe have answered, but maybe they'll change. First one, I already know the answer, but maybe people listening didn't catch the first one. Logic or Ableton?
Logic. However, I've decided to stop being so stubborn, and I'm now double fisting DAWs.
Ooh,
I'm
playing for
trying
both
to
teams.
I'm trying to use both. Yeah, I'm working for both teams. I'm actually starting to sit down and fuck around in Ableton, whereas before I was just using for the live stuff. But now I'm actually trying to use both. Like for the past couple things I've been making, I have a project for the same song in both Ableton and Logic.
Oh, wow.
And I just have been have both open, and I've just been jumping back and forth because Ableton can do some pretty sick shit that Logic can't.
Yeah.
But like, I can work better in Logic, so I've been just like coming up with something cool in Ableton, and then like bouncing it over to Logic, and then just like going back and forth. But it's been pretty cool. Yeah, I was like, I gotta stop being like so goddamn stubborn about Logic. Like Logic it's not like I just know how to use Logic. It's not like Logic is incredible or anything, but like I mean I think it is, but yeah, it's like I'm trying to evolve, and I was like I gotta mix up my process somehow because I was feeling myself get a little dry in my like musical routines. So yeah, now we're using both, and hopefully I will just become unstoppable with both with both DAWs open at the same time. Then we'll throw Pro Tools in the mix. I'll get
Let's get them
Bitwig.
all.
Well, I have like four DAWs open.
Fruity
at once.
Loops, yeah, all the monitors up at the same time.
Yeah.
I love that for you. We've had many conversations about Logic or Ableton, and we're both use Logic, but we're like, God damn it, like I kind of want to get into Ableton.
I would get so annoyed by Ableton people because Ableton people are fucking so
Elitist.
crazy, so elitist about their DAW.
Yeah,
And I get it. I was like, I know you're probably right. Like it probably is better, but like, I'm annoyed by you. So
Yeah.
like, but now I'm
now
just
you're one of
trying
those
to not
people.
be. I'm trying to not be stubborn. No, I'm not gonna go around just preaching Ableton.
All right, question number 2. What's a perfect album front to back?
Ooh, I feel like I gotta give you a different answer than last time.
Do you remember what you said last time?
I think I said all my heroes are cornballs.
Oh
last time,
yeah,
which I still stand by. Let me think of another one now. God, I thought of another one, but I feel like we also talked about it last
That's
time.
okay. What is it?
The first Big Red Machine album.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think you did say both of those, but I gotta be honest. You told me to listen to the second one. I got like 2 or 3 tracks in. I was just like, I don't know. It's not
Dude,
hitting
it's
the same.
no, I don't know. They're kind of losing their edge.
It just kind of felt like I wasn't hearing any Big Red Machine in it. It didn't feel like them. It felt like just a bunch of like folk songs that had very little experimentation on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's some songs that I love on there for sure, but I don't love them in the way that I love Big. Like, it's not what I need from Big Red Machine, but I can enjoy it as something that's not Big Red Machine. But I don't know. I was a little sad that it was like so on the straight and narrow when the first one's so playful and so detailed and bold. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. But
so maybe instead of perfect album, we'll keep it current. Do you have any favorite albums of this year?
Favorite, like that came out this year?
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm so terrible at keeping up with new music, honestly. I mean, I guess I gotta say the new Peggy album.
You got to, dude.
I'm just sounding like such a fangirl for Peggy.
But he's amazing. I mean,
he is. He's so incredible. But like, God, yeah, I really, really have a hard time. Like, I don't try that hard to keep up with the music that's going on. Like, if anything, I just discover kind of music from the past, not the distant past, but like I find things that are already like have been great for a while, and because it's easier to find those things. But like, I don't know. God, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna say the Peggy album.
That's not.
I'm disappointed in myself. I should have another answer.
I feel like I feel like we've talked about some, but maybe not.
Yeah. I wonder if I'm missing something.
Sometimes you just gotta check your Spotify, see what's going on.
Right.
I loved the Brockhampton album. I loved Spirit of the Beehive, their album that came out. Injury Reserve, for sure.
Yeah, I do really like the Injury Reserve one.
It is a disturbing listen. It's not exactly a, put it on while you chill.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Those 2 singles are still my favorite though.
Yeah, I think
those are so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Totally
bro,
acceptable.
Yeah, I've got nothing for you, dude. I don't have a favorite album of this year, really.
That's okay.
I've just been like...
Mine's Permanent Rainbows.
Oh, you don't mean that.
I do. It is a fantastic album.
Thank you.
Right next to
Thanks.
Peggy. How about that?
Boom. Awesome.
Right up there.
I'll take that.
So my third question, I'm putting a little spin on the question I normally ask, which is dream artist or producer to work with. We've talked about stuff like that all the time, so I kind of want to give it a little spin here. So I'm going to give you 2 different artists / producers, and you have to pick one.
To like that I would want to work with, or just like who's better? So
you can answer both, because originally it was going to be you got to pick one. Their whole discography's got to go.
No.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
this is gonna be
so
tragic.
it'll be a 2-part question. Pick which one you want to work with, and which one whose whole discography's got to go, because those might be different answers.
Okay.
So number 1, Baths or Bon Iver?
It's gonna be painful. I think I'd rather work with Bon Iver.
It's certainly more iconic.
Mm-hmm. But, or I mean, I just think, it just seems like there's already so much collaboration going on with him that like I think I could like just ease in there pretty nicely and not have it be like super intense and but like, and just try and provide value somehow. But like, I don't know. It seems like Baz works very similarly to how I do, and I feel like he works pretty solitarily, and I don't know. I've been like so influenced by him that I feel like it would be like a weird vibe.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I think I would keep Bath's discography over Bon Iver's.
Ooh, interesting.
So they're flipped.
Yeah.
Did I answer that correctly?
I don't know. I'm not super into both of them. I like both of them, but I in no way could like hold up much of a conversation with people who are super fans, especially Baths. I mean, I know Bon Iver, like, and I've listened to all of his albums at least once, but I wouldn't be able to like connect in a bigger way. Baths, I really only listened to that album you sent me, the like Pop Songs 2 or something. I forgot what it was called. I should like investigate further into
Yeah,
Baths.
you should. I think you'd probably like Obsidian a lot.
Okay.
It's like it's from 2013. It's like very, very dark.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of those good bodily sounds that I love too.
Yeah, the Foley
Just
stuff.
like ASMR.
Everyone listening is gonna be like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, I mean, I can't give up Baths. I mean, he taught me he got me so into just these like buggy sounds, you know, like just like that, like the ASMR type kind of like
Right.
well, squishy stuff. I wouldn't give that up for the world. I'm trying to do it a little bit less. I'm trying to shake off the Baths influence a bit. That's why I'm getting so into Awe-Tecker these days.
I was gonna say I was trying to think of an opposite for Awe-Tecker, but I really I couldn't really quite.
I don't know.
think of
Maybe
one.
the opposite of Awe-Tecker, I guess, is like
Like maybe
like
not opposite.
Jim Croce, James Taylor, like just some like maybe
That's
like
a collab I want to see.
maybe Bob Dylan is the opposite of Awe-Tecker. Like
Yeah,
if
you
really...
could argue that. I think that would be interesting. Okay, question or second pair. I feel like I know the answer, but JPEG Mafia or George Clanton. Yeah, I had a feeling. He's just
big love to George Clanton though.
Yeah, I feel like George Clanton would be the more obvious pair, but I would love to see it with Peggy. See it with Peggy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love nothing more. I promise I'll be cool.
We've talked pretty extensively about George Clanton's discography, and I'm not really like. I've tried to get into E-Spirit and whatever his other one is, and I just it doesn't hit the same as Slide, and even his other songs or his other albums don't hit the same way for me. But I love his brand. I guess he's just really found out a great way to expand his world, like the world of George Clanton.
Big time. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I was really, really, really into George Clanton stuff, but it was mostly, like, I guess I'm not, like, listening to him constantly anymore. It was kind of like a time where I was,
same.
like, really had that shit on repeat all day. But I obviously still love him, and I'm so excited to, like, see what he does next.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, Peggy's been a much longer lasting like fixation for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there really is like endless replay value.
Yes, I agree. I've listened to the new album so many times already.
Yeah, it's really growing on me too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I liked it from the get-go, but it's really
each
growing on me.
song, like the songs I didn't care about as much the first listen through, have all gradually become some, like, I like them more. Not that I didn't at first, but there's just so much going on. It's kind of hard to pin down some
For
of them.
sure. Yeah,
Like-
my first. Sorry, keep going.
I was just going to say, like, the second song, I forgot what it's called.
Dirty.
Dirty. Yeah. I was like, that's good, but it didn't, like, blow me away. And now I'm like, that's a great song. And a lot of them are like that for me.
Yeah, Dirty was one of my immediate favorites.
Oh, really?
That snare is just so
Mhm.
beefy. Just kicks me right in the abdomen. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, my first listen through, I was kind of like, there's a lot of filler on here, I feel like.
Yeah.
But now at this point, I'm like, oh no, there isn't a lot of filler on here. It's actually very, like, there's a lot on here that's pretty necessary.
Yeah, I agree. I think best track, probably my favorite's got to be Hazard Duty Pay and Rebound and Sick, Nervous, and Broke, right?
That one is so good.
It's insane.
That
It's
cowbell.
insane. Yeah, the cowbell is amazing.
It's so perfectly placed. Like,
It's like da-da-da-da.
I know.
It really is.
Yeah. Hazard Duty Pay is hard to beat, man. Like, that
Yeah,
is just the feel-good anthem of the century. Like, it's such a colossal banger.
It's been my
makes
go-to
me feel on
pump
top
up
of the
song.
world. Yeah.
Mhm. It just gets me hyped.
Oh, yeah. That one's hard to beat.
I agree.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite, too.
I kind of hate that it's not on the online version, but it keeps me from
Same.
overplaying it, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Because I'd be
I
listening
know.
to it all the time.
for sure.
But third pair here, last one.
Cool.
I'm interested what you're going to say about this one. Charlie XCX or Bjork?
Oh, that is interesting.
It's very different.
Yeah. Ooh. Listen, I think
Stumped you.
Yeah, you got me feeling very conflicted. 'Cause, like, I don't know. I don't listen to Bjork stuff a ton. And
I'm getting back into her. That's why I thought of her.
yeah, like I went through her whole discography earlier this year, and it was really fun. And there's some definitely, like, real standout tracks. Like, her highs are, like, incredibly high, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
But I would say at this point, like, even though I don't listen to Bjork a ton, I feel like I'm more influenced these days by Bjork than Charlie. Because I used to be super influenced by, like, A.G. Cook and PC music and shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was around the same time as George Clanton. That was like that was like a major influence for me, but not so much anymore. I really wasn't crazy about the new single, I gotta say.
Charlie's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it once and I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Didn't blow me away.
No, but I think I would like to work with Charlie for sure.
Of course.
I think I could. But I'd also love to work with Bjork. I feel like tonally I could make something way more fitting for Bjork than Charlie. At least at this point in my, like, creative, whatever. Just because, I don't know. I think you're pulling me in both directions. I think I'd give, okay, this is an unanswerable question.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really unanswerable. I
It is.
wouldn't give up either. From a personal listening standpoint, I would give up Bjork's, but I feel like that would just be such a colossal sin for all of history and mankind.
Yeah.
So
You'd
I can't be that selfish.
That would be depriving the world of a lot of influence.
It would be it'd be catastrophic.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
also hard to say though what Charlie's discography will mean for the world in, like, the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Because maybe
It'll be
it's
important,
the start of
I
a bunch
think.
of other genres or sounds or whatever, and we don't quite know yet.
Yeah, it kind of launched the whole, like, hyperpop thing a little bit, which is
Or brought it into the mainstream at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I still feel like they did it the best. Like, I feel like Charlie and A.G. Cook and Sophie, I feel like they had it right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're the first people to really I mean, I guess I don't know really what the origins are, but I really feel like I think they do it the best, honestly. Like it feels, the way they do hyperpop feels like really authentic and
Yeah.
like joyous and like sincere and kind of like weirdly vulnerable in a strange way.
Right.
Whereas like a lot of other hyperpop that's sprouted off of that, I feel like is like people see it as, it seems like it's like an easy way to kind of like hide yourself. And it's like the opposite of vulnerable, which is kind of why I feel like hyperpop isn't the future of music that people kind of see it as, where it's like I think the future of music is going to need to be a bit more emotional and like open than like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it already has kind of died down a bit. It was such a thing for a while, but I think it will be like the catalyst for what will be a huge portion of music in the future. Like people are going to take a lot of elements from hyperpop and turn it into something like even better than what it is, right? But isn't that just how it always goes, right? Like one thing pops off and then it gets huge. It's like when dubstep was like gigantic at one point, and I'm sure it's still huge, but that's just not my genre of choice. But like when Skrillex became the biggest name in the world, I think it was a little overdone, a little overblown, that kind of stuff. But people took elements of dubstep and implemented it in like indie pop songs in a way that was really tasteful, I think. And that's just always how it seems to go, right? You just take things from other things and blend them in with something new, figure out different recipes.
For sure. Music always gets better. I think
I agree.
There might be like trends that are like overdone or annoying and whatever that you don't like and shit, but like on the grand scale, I feel like music is always advancing, like way more and quickly, and like way more than any other thing, like cultural thing in life. It's like it just the rate that it's advancing and like learning from itself, it's like really crazy. And I don't know, I cannot respect the idea that music like peaked at any point.
Yeah.
It's like that's not a, like I get that that's can be what you prefer, but like I just cosmically, like it's just a simple evolution. It's like things are going to improve and like learn from the past and just incorporate it and go further. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I really think that it's always going to be getting better. There's no going back.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think people who say that music back in the day was the best, it's like, well, it's clearly a preference for you, but it's like, if you really think that nowadays everything sucks, I think you're not doing enough to like really try to find what's good out right now. It's like, it's easier for you to just assume that about the past than it is for you to, change your worldview and look for things right now. Because it's like, there's still rock and roll bands. Maybe they're not the ones selling out the arenas like they all were in the 80s. And like, there's a lot of trap artists that are selling out arenas, but you're not thinking about Arctic Monkeys that are still selling out arenas. You're not thinking about Strokes who are still selling out arenas. Like, there's so many big rock bands that are killing it nowadays, and you're just like gonna decide that they don't matter, like they don't count.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So
it's just. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say something, but I can't remember what it was.
About the evolution of music.
Yeah, but fuck it, I can't remember.
Fuck it. If it comes to you,
it wasn't
just
important.
blurt it out.
Okay.
So question number 4 is, what's your musical rotation right now? I know we were just kind of talking about it A lot of Autechre, I know,
Yeah, it's pretty much just Autechre.
which concerns me.
Autechre and Peggy.
I don't think I told you I listened to at least the first 2 songs of whatever that whatever.
Chiastic Slide.
Chiastic Slide, right. Yeah, can't believe I forgot that name.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, honestly, but
it was pretty sick though. Like, it's hard for me to imagine just putting it on all the time, but I want to get through the whole thing because I was pretty impressed at what they could do in like 91 or whenever that came out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean they're like super. Yeah, I think that one was like 97.
97.
It's like super ahead of its time, but like, yeah, I don't know. I've been really into like the post 2000s Autechre shit, where it's like real just
Gnarly.
it's like so gnarly, and it's like because I'm trying to absorb them, like I'm trying to because I need some new influence, and I was dipping my toes into Autechre earlier this year when I started working on the dance show, but like then just recently I decided like, okay, wherever their head is at, I want to know what that's like, and I want to just kind of like, so it's kind of just like I'm programming myself. I'm trying to like I'm trying to make like Autechre sounds just like part of my bones, so
right,
I can,
right.
like, but like because they're really good at like the thing that I was kind of talking about earlier of like making things sound like not like synths and not organic, but also not really super. A lot of their stuff doesn't feel electronic. It just feels like just things,
just like textures
and like, yeah, it's made of like wood and iron and rust and just sometimes water, but not often. Usually just pipe. There's like Autechre is made of like pipes and tubes and springs, and it's like
that's so accurate.
It's like, okay, I need to know how to do this.
And then all those things are run over by a bulldozer.
Yeah, for 19 minutes.
And that's one song.
Yeah, they're wild.
I'm gonna listen to them today. That and Bats I will try to get more into because I know how much those groups mean to you. And
Autechre's a new one.
I
for
like
me.
it. Yeah, I know I like them. I just need to have the mindset and the patience.
Yeah, Autechre is super not for everybody. That's like, it's like something I wouldn't recommend necessarily. It's like I know that I like this, but I can't in good faith recommend this to anybody.
Maybe like, next time I'm with my girl, I'll be like, yo, I just found this new group called Autechre. Let's check them out. She'll be like, I'm never talking to you again. Like, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what my post Autechre future looks like, or that's just something I throw on. Here's what's weird is when after you listen to it for a while, like for more than like 20 minutes at one time, it just becomes like easy listening music. Where it's like you'll just
jazz.
Yeah, you'll just like be thinking about something, you'll not even like, then you'll remember that Autechre is happening in your ears. That's when it really starts to feel like you're being programmed. Where it's like it's weird. I'm like,
all right, I'm gonna dive into my Autechre phase today after this because I'm
good luck.
Like, yeah, right. I'll let you know how it's going.
You should skip their first 2 albums.
Okay, is it just like too intense, or is it?
No,
they're not very good.
It's just like kind of normal like 90s like acidy electronic music where it's I don't know. It's just not what I need from Autechre. It sounds more like Boards of Canada and stuff.
Oh yeah, I like
I don't
Boards of
know.
Canada though.
Yeah, it's cool, but like I don't know. The thing that I want from Autechre, I feel like they didn't start really doing until
I see. Yeah.
a bit later. But
Got you.
yeah.
Well, I will get into it after
Sweet.
this. All right, man. Last question of the 100th episode is I don't know what made me think of this, but I'm like, I would like to know what you think yours would be. What would be your dream live show scenario? Paint the picture for me.
Ooh.
Where are you? Time of day? Who's on stage with you? What's the
Okay.
audience like?
Wow. Okay, let me think. Wow.
I've never asked that one before.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, it can be anything.
Yeah, just paint the scene.
All right, so I get up at noon, and
We're
then-
starting early in the day.
I'm kidding. We could jump. I don't know. I'd love to like play just with some of my favorite artists. That'd be fucking crazy. I would love to be sandwiched in the middle of a concert. Like I'd love to play in the middle, like in between like two of my heroes. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Like if it was like Baths and then I played and then like Peggy played or something like
Gotta
that.
have Peggy at the end.
Yeah, I can't follow that.
No, nobody can.
It would just be sick to be sandwiched in between two of my faves.
That's cool. Yeah.
Then we'll do it at First Avenue. That's where we'll do it.
First Avenue.
Yeah.
Is that where you just played?
I played at 7th Street Entry, which is it's like in the same building, but it's like
Okay.
the smaller room.
Got you. So you're not thinking like huge headlining festival, like you're at Coachella.
Well,
or-
that would be great. That would probably be better for my career.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe, yeah, you're right. I just didn't give myself permission to shoot that high.
Well, yeah, that's why I say dream live show scenario. But I do think there's something like that probably wouldn't feel as good internally as
Yeah.
what you described, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot more intimate, first of all, being in like a venue like that, and the added bonus of being backstage with Bats
sure.
and JPEG.
Yeah.
before
And people
you go
there
on.
actually know the music too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Festivals, yeah, it seems important to do, but it also doesn't always seem fun. Like it looks
Yeah.
kind of grueling, but
It probably is in its own way. Not that I would,
but yeah.
but
Also, we'll put it on my birthday.
yes,
Yeah.
another
Well,
birthday one,
Another birthday show.
because everybody
This-
has to be excited for you,
Yeah.
and all your friends have to be there.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the big advantage of having a show on your birthday.
Exactly. Awesome, Bobby. That we just did 2 hours. We did over 2 hours.
Crazy.
I know.
Awesome.
Without a doubt, the longest episode I've done, and yet it didn't even feel like 2 hours to me.
No, this is a blast.
I appreciate you coming on, man, and talking with me for so long and diving deep into a bunch of different rabbit holes and talking about the new album and for asking me questions, actually preparing me questions. That's pretty amazing. I appreciate you coming on, dude. Everybody needs to go listen to Permanent Rainbows right now. And then Autechre.
Then Tucker. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you having me on again. And honored to be on the 100th episode. Honored to be the first repeat guest. Honored to know you and have you as a
Aw,
friend. And
Man,
I'm happy for you. Congrats.
thank
you
you,
made it
dude.
100 in. You're at 100 episodes. Can you believe it?
3 digits. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
big celebrations for both of us. You with your not debut album, and
Yeah.
me hitting 3 digits. So it's exciting to celebrate it with you. One of these days, I am going to make it up to Minnesota, or you're going to make it up to Atlanta,
Yes.
or both.
Hell yeah. Well, okay. So maybe for now, maybe I should come to Atlanta because
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cold as
the
fuck over
the
there.
winter is about to commence, and I'm gonna need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
for a
you're
bit.
gonna come down here. I'm gonna be like bundled up. You're gonna be like wearing, swim trunks.
Yeah, I'm gonna be blissed out on 50 degrees. I'm gonna be like, this is
Oh yeah, 50 degrees.
dream.
Is fucking. That's like Antarctica for me.
Oh my god. Yeah, you haven't felt -10.
No, I haven't. And I don't plan on doing it either.
Yeah, it goes negative.
That's ridiculous. No thanks.
Yeah, it's
No, thank
hell.
you.
It's hell. Never live here, anybody. I'm kidding. It has its good things. They're good.
Yeah.
Minneapolis is cool, but we've got these fucking winters that make us all want to die.
Yeah. So go ahead and come over here for your vacation home.
Okay. Yeah, I will for sure. I'd love to.
All right, it's open to you, man. Let's do it.
Sweet.
I would love to have
Yeah.
you here.
Sick.
All
Yeah.
right, man. I think it's time we sign this off. 2 hours in. Amazing,
For
amazing
sure.
dude. Amazing music. Amazing
You too, man.
conversations. All right,
Yes.
dude.
Thanks, man.
Thank you again for coming on. And
Of course.
everybody go check out Permanent Rainbows.
All right.
Bobby
Cheers,
Rethwish.
Parker.
I'll see you soon.
God bless.
Cheers. God bless. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Take me from my head.
Thank you again for joining me for another episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and you can even leave a comment down below to let me know who you're listening to. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.